wanted to do another part on 6.4 day 2. So I'm going to call this 6.4 day 2 part B. And this one will be pretty short. So we also need to do one more example of finding the inverse of a cubic function. So we're going to find the inverse of a cubic function. Alright, so here's what it looks like. 1/3 x cubed plus 3. Alright, so we're going to use the same steps we did. The first thing we're going to do is replace the f of x with y. Okay. The second step, we're going to switch x and y. And now we're going to solve this equation for y. Okay, so I'm just rewriting it. So the first thing I'll do is subtract 3. Okay, then to clean up this fraction right here, I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which would just be 3. Okay. And so, let me clean this up a little bit. When I multiply a number by the reciprocal, that just goes to 1. So, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 3. So I'm multiplying through. Okay. Now, to undo the cube, I need to do the cube root of both sides. So when I do the cube root of this side and the cube root of this side, and then these two just undo each other, so I just get y. And then for our last step, we're going to replace y with our inverse notation. And we have our inverse function. Okay, so I want to also think of the graph. We did this in the last section. We wanted to, it also asked us to determine whether this inverse function, I should just say this inverse, determine whether the inverse is a function. Now we're not going to graph this exactly, but we know it's the cubed function right here. And so if we start with our original function and think of what x cubed looks like, remember it's that sideways s. And so if it's the cubed function, we know it's going to pass the horizontal line test. So to answer this part, I would say the inverse is a function because the graph of f of x passes the horizontal line test. Okay, that's the end of 6.4 day 2.